Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Claressa's career is going up in flames, right? She did it to herself, and people are celebrating. And I understand why, because I've been tracking this shit for quite some time. And a lot of people have watched me go from, kind of disagreeing with a lot of the women, some of the men, and more saying, okay, yeah, the attitude sucks. She's disrespected Muhammad Ali, Laila Ali. I don't like that. But as far as a boxer, I try to focus more around that. But you've seen over time, as far as my stance on it has changed big time, But what happened to Claressa Shields?
You're gonna make your debut next week, and people are gonna get the first glimpse of you. When you step into that ring, for people who have never seen you fight before, what's gonna surprise them about Claressa Shields?
They're gonna be surprised by my boxing skill. Women's boxing has always kind of been to me, I always think about Christy Martin. She was a banger. Her nose would get busted, she'd get cut, she'd keep fighting, and she'll win the fight. I'm not a Christy Martin.
Yeah.
I'm actually a boxer who has very, very good skill. I believe that Andre Ward would definitely be the showmaker because he's the main event. But I believe right under Andre Ward, out of all the undercards, that I'll be the one that steals the show. That I'll be the one that everybody be like, Andre Ward did his thing, but Claressa Shields did. She did a very great job. She looked really good. I think they're going to be shocked by my boxing skill and by my boxing basics. Just the jab, the uppercut, the hook, right here. I don't think they ever seen that out of a woman fighter. You always kind of see it getting there. He kind of brawl. You never see like just the skill side of it. So
yeah, just the fundamentals, how you work off the jab, getting leverage with your lead left foot, cutting off the ring, things like that.
And adjust my stance.
Yeah.
Just the way I stand. A lot of boxers don't really have that balance in their legs no more. I got full balance. I'm working on it since I was 11 years old, and I'm only going to get better. So I think they're going to be shocked at kind of everything, really.
Yeah.
First how I box, and then after how I do the interview, how I'm such a girly girl. It's going to be so hilarious, just the transition.
Hey.
Okay, that was Claressa before her debut. Okay, that's when she was talking. That right there is a totally different beast. We don't know that person. That's the one that could have gone on to become a gazillionaire that I used to talk about. But that person is gone. But we all saw the transition happening. We all saw it. And there's a couple people who tried to warn her.
Over here, you already know. To be worried about any of these young girls like that. But at the same time, I see that she gets into it with a lot of people. She gets into it with a lot of female fighters. She gets into it with male fighters. So obviously that's a thing for her. Hopefully she'll figure that out because you're not going to get very far in this life if you continue burning bridges. And even though she's not someone that I consider a friend, hopefully that's some advice that she would take because you're going to see a lot of people surpass you. Even though you're talented, even though you can say, oh, I won all these belts and I went to the Olympics, I did X, Y, and Z. So never think too big of yourself, right? Because there's always going to be somebody. You got to really watch your character. You got to stay humble. And, hopefully you don't burn so many bridges along the way, you don't come back from it because you want to use these opportunities right now when you have it. It's great that you're doing all these things. And you want to be a role model to those coming behind you. Of course. And you want the fans to like you. You want to be a likable person. I know there's a movie coming out on her, which is great. She's been through so much, but guess what? A lot of us have. So it's no excuse. We need to do better. And to me, it's really important. It's really important how I carry myself. It's really important how I represent myself, how I represent women, how I represent black women, how I represent fighters, how I represent my father, how I represent myself, how I'm a woman, a mother, a wife. I don't have time to be over here going back and forth with somebody over no BS. So, I was hesitant to even talk to you about it because we already know people grab onto that. You know what I'm saying? This isn't about who can win, who can fight. Claressa knows I offered her sparring. She knows. She knows she didn't want to spar with me. That would have been the moment to whoop me. That would have been the moment because we know we would have had our social media. Yeah. That would have been your moment to do your thing. So we don't want to hear nothing else about it now. No more.
Now, Laila Ali, that was her. She tried to tell her about burning bridges. She tried to square away. So you saw what Claressa was when she first turned pro. She had it. But then along the way, she started losing it. Laila saw it. Laila chimed in. Claressa got word, and then Claressa had something to say about that.
You can't come at my boxing because people seeing me knock girls the hell out now and seeing my skills and seeing everything that I'm doing. So you can't say I can't box. Now you want to come for my character as if you ever been around me. You don't know who I have a bridge burnt with.
So that's what Claressa had to tell Laila. You don't know if I burn bridges and who I burn bridges with. This is around the time when things started getting to Hood Champion. And Claressa happened to call into the show. And I talked to her for about 46 minutes. And I made sure when I talked to her to be very respectful. And I knew when to push, when to throttle back, when to go again. You know what I'm saying? When I talk to her, there's a lot of inexperienced people who are in the chat who don't understand anything about like counseling sessions or nothing. They just want you to go down someone's throat because most of those people want the virality. They want someone to come in there and be mean and nasty. That's what they want. That ain't my style. I know how to talk to people. Doing the shit I was doing even now. So you figure 26, I'm up fucking almost 35 years. I know how to talk to people. I know how to get what I want out of a person. And I got everything I wanted out of Claressa Shields. You know what I'm saying? But for anybody who's out here sleeping, Laila talked to her about burning bridges, about her brand, right? Then I talked to her about you know what. Claressa.
It's a real question. You give them a platform
Claressa.
to agree with them when they I had those.
Right.
I had those.
Okay. Well, most of us don't know anything about it because you don't talk about it. You had them. Why don't you? So the thing is, where is it now? You come out here saying you got all these deals.
Do you not know that it's new levels? It's new levels. Do you not know I could be signed to 20 different endorsement deals right now? I told them no, it's not enough money. When you know your worth, you stay there and you fight for your worth. You don't just take anything. So therefore, don't ever forget that I'm a black girl in America.
What? Okay. No, I'm glad. Hold on. That's something. If you follow my lives at all, which you can't follow them all, I know you're busy, but I know you see something. You don't hear when I talk about that? When I talk about that, her being how hard it is for her as a female, especially a black female. But the problem is attitude.
It's not enough money. When you know your worth, you stay there and you fight for your worth. You don't just take anything. So therefore, don't ever forget that I'm a black girl in America.
What? Okay. No, I'm glad. Hold on. That's something. If you follow my lives at all, which you can't follow them all, I know you're busy, but I know you see something. You don't hear when I talk about that? When I talk about that, her being how hard it is for her as a female, especially a black female. But the problem is attitude. That's what we talk about. You're always going off on everybody, cussing.
It's not enough money. When you know your worth, you stay there and you fight for your worth. You don't just take anything. So therefore, don't ever forget that I'm a black girl in America.
What? Okay. No, I'm glad. Hold on. That's something. If you follow my lives at all, which you can't follow them all, I know you're busy, but I know you see something. You don't hear when I talk about that? When I talk about that, her being how hard it is for her as a female, especially a black female. But the problem is attitude. That's what we talk about. You're always going off on everybody, cussing and carrying on. I mean, it's like, what's the real issue here? You don't seem happy, Claressa, and you come off and you bite everybody's head off. And this is us. This is the perception. Now, I want to tell you this. I want to say. Now, so Claressa had myself, Laila, talk directly to her. Right? She heard us loud and clear. Then the lives I've done, other people who create content, other people who talk to her, she listens to everybody. But she hears everyone, but she listened to Laila and she listened to me. And she was all, she's right, we're wrong. She's okay, we're not okay. And everybody, all the viewers and everyone else, the observers, they tried to warn this woman. But now you see the situation she's in right now. She went from being boxing's face to boxing's fiasco. Career's up in flames. Now, we all know what happened when she went to the radio station. And she got asked a question about being, with somebody's husband. And Claressa came out here and said what she said. We all know. I ain't here to play all that. What I'm here to tell you is Claressa, the same person she was a couple of years ago, where she started flaring up, and going at Laila. Same person she was last year when I started doing these lives. Same person she was earlier this year when I even told her about her attitude, even talked to her about, me being a street kid coming up, having to realize, what, it wasn't everyone else, it was me. And once I made a few refinements, I was up and away. She got real raw and uncut fucking conversation from me and Laila. Nobody cussed at her. Nobody insulted her. You know what I mean? Nobody tried to publicly lynch her. I had every opportunity. I had to check myself while I was talking to her to not go there because I realized I could have, but that ain't my style. I wanted to hear from her. So I kept her on there for damn near an hour. But the bottom line is, you look at her now, and that's why I just sit here and shake my head. That's why people don't even want to help her no more. They don't want to help her. They ain't touching her. I know I ain't touching that. I have nothing else to say. That's why I said, I have no expectation. Zero. Especially after that rant yesterday talking about the stuff she was talking about. And it's crazy because you got Papoose there who's just basically like, look, man, he's just there in the breeze. He's like, don't blame me for nothing. You know what I'm saying? This ain't on me. She don't listen. I'll say this. I believe that she's always had this toxic way about her. And I believe that because the people who I spoke to, who knew her personally and gave me specific details about different incidents that had taken place from many years ago to even recently. They say what you're seeing is how she is, has always been. This is who she is. And the thing is, even when they told me that, I was like, I hear you. But I said, we're going to see. You know me, I'm always talking about placeholders, planning factors. Let's look 3, 6, 9, 12 months out. Let's see how it plays out. And I did. And I just sat back and observed. And I see that she's toxic. She's out there. Is she under attack sometimes? Yeah, but I mean, she's created that. When you're out here loud, when you're trying to go viral, when you're trying to say whatever it takes, the most extreme things to possibly get somebody's attention, people gonna talk. And she's not saying nice things. She's saying horrible things. So of course people are gonna come and attack you. Then you just happen to be in this public relationship that, if you would have just shut up, people would talk, but it wouldn't be like this. You know what I'm saying? What you expect? People are gonna attack you. Because you come out here and you say all kind of stuff. Horrible stuff. So it's going to be a back and forth between Claressa and the public. And it's not going to stop. You know what I'm saying? So people are looking to transition into 2027 because now they know Papoose ain't getting no divorce no time soon because he wants half from Remy and Remy ain't getting him half. So that means next year Claressa ain't taking no year off to get married and start no family because you can't marry a married man. You know what I'm saying? Who going to go out? Papoose ain't going to be stupid enough to give her no kid. I'm going to go ahead and take that one for the guys right there. Ladies can get mad at me on that. I'm telling you, I think Papoose got enough sense to not get that woman a child. So if y'all want to get mad at me for saying that, oh, you're defending him. No, I'm just telling you, I think he got enough sense. I'm going to sit there and go with, I'm going to go OG to OG on that one. I'm 51, he 40, about to be 49. Me and that motherfucker only a couple years apart in age. I would hope that even he say, when he all alone away from everybody, he make sure the coast is clear, Claressa ain't around. I'm sure Papoose tell himself, man, I ain't never gonna get this girl a child. You know what I'm saying? So next year is gonna be another year full of fireworks for everyone because that's the year where Claressa may put the bing bings on Papoose. For real. Because he can't marry her. Even if he wants to, he can't. You know what I'm saying? He can't. I mean, you go to Africa and shit and have 20 wives or some shit. He can't do it. So Claressa gonna be there next year, no marriage, no family, and she gonna be boxing. She gonna be unhappy, and everybody gonna talk about her, and they're gonna attack her, and they're gonna clown her more than ever, because she went on a talk show, and she was asked about somebody's husband, and she decided to come out and talk about how the person, filed a divorce because they want to be with her, and what I look like, being with a man, the man's with me. Well, no man getting my money, what I look like, man, my pockets are slim, my hand can't even really fit in there. She talk all this shit. Oh, and the pum pum do this, and the pum pum do that. Oh, you talk big shit. Okay. 2027. Let's see if she get louder or if she become more reserved. That's what I'm gonna be paying attention to. And all those other women in boxing. Claressa is bringing down women's boxing. But women's boxing is still thriving. But she's bringing it down. You know why? Because she is one of the biggest faces of women's boxing, biggest names of women's boxing. But she's also a big thorn in the side of women's boxing. And I think she's going to get boycotted. I think she's going to get banned. I think she's going to get suspended. I think something's going to happen because she is a threat. She is an imminent threat and has been to women's boxing, and now she's bringing it down. They're not going to let that happen. And the thing is, for the other women, they may not even be that great inside the ring or even outside. All they got to do is just stay professional. Be kind of half-ass in the ring, just be professional outside, up and away. Claressa makes them look that great because she's that bad outside the ring. And inside the ring, nobody care anymore. You know what I'm saying? She's so bad, she makes the average woman look that great. I hope everybody rides the GOAT wave. If you missed out on Bitcoin, get in that GOAT, get in on the GOAT coin. Because this shit's paying handsomely. But unfortunately for her, she's going to pay with her career. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea why this woman continued to act like a fucking menace. There is something wrong with Big Bo. And yeah, Hood Champion saying it. I still know that she can fight. I still respect what she accomplished as a boxer, as an amateur. I understand her background. I know all that. I don't talk about it, but I understand all that. She deserves all the respect in the world for what she did as a young lady, as an Olympian, and what she accomplished as a professional fighter. But that's the past. Right now, she doesn't deserve any respect because she doesn't respect herself and she doesn't respect others. No endorsement deals, no sponsorships. I can't see it. And I can't see her remaining in boxing to the end of 2027. I don't see it. And even if she tries to rebrand, she can never get back to be 1/100th of what she had when she initially turned pro. Too much damage has been done. If she was one of those natural disasters, she'd be a hurricane. I call her Hurricane Trina. And she's just left a path of destruction everywhere she's gone. And she is single-handedly taking down women's boxing. And let me tell you something. The powers that be, the secret society, them key decision makers, man, who sit there behind them closed doors that you and I would never see, you better believe they're looking at this and they're saying, we got to do something about it. That being said, I got to run errands like always, about to go to the school, find out about the athletic program for this year. My son's playing football and shit, so I'm about to go to that. But y'all keep cool. Claressa Shield went from boxing's face to boxing's fiasco. And all she had to do was listen. You don't want to listen to me? Cool. I'm just a retired dude. What the fuck do I know? I only been around the world, at all levels. Very successful at all levels. Her champion breezing. But hey, you won't listen to me? Cool, you don't know me. You shouldn't. You won't listen to all these different women who are talking. Some of them ain't no need to listen to because they just be talking shit. But the 98% of them that try to get some kind of constructive criticism, impart some wisdom because they got some of them gray hairs and been there, done that, walked in your shoes. Some haven't, but some have. You don't want to listen to them? Cool. All right, you don't need to listen to them. All right, tell Hood Champion kiss your ass. Tell them to kiss your ass. But Laila Ali, you won't even listen to Laila Ali. Instead, you go and disrespect her and her father, Muhammad Ali. Yeah, that's why nobody care about what happened to Claressa Shields. Nobody cares. And it's nobody being mean to her. Has nothing to do with her hair, her skin, her teeth, growing up poor, nothing, her race, nothing, her gender, nothing. Has everything to do with, y'all know what I'm about to say. Attitude. Should have listened to everybody when they were trying to sit there and talk to you, man, especially Laila Ali, because she ain't have to. And trust me, there are people, and I'm going to say it again before I get out of here, who want to talk to Claressa to help her, but they're like, hell no, she's too unpredictable. I can't attach myself to that woman. And these are people I talk to. Famous people. Will blow your mind. They just tell me you seem like a straight up guy with integrity, and I trust that you won't say nothing. I said, I ain't gonna say shit. I said, I'll mention kind of what you're saying. I ain't gonna say who you are. They're like, cool. I said, got it. And that's why I just dumbed it all the way down to people want to help her, but they won't do it because she's too unpredictable, too toxic. And especially now, they're like, hell no. They don't even care no more. It's going to be what it's going to be. The last thing, I talked to someone yesterday and said, it's going to be what it's going to be. She doesn't want help. Let her crash and burn. I said, cool. I got to roll. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.